Well, good evening, everyone. Meteorologist Michael Wilhite here with Southern Indiana Weather. Want to bring you a quick forecast update here. It is Tuesday evening, the 4th of April, 2017. Been a little while since I did one of these videos. Have had a lot going on, and I've sort of backed away from the videos as much in favor of more other things here on the website. But do want to at least get a quick video up here tonight about the severe weather threat. We've had multiple severe weather threats this month. It's been a pretty active severe weather season here in southern Indiana so far. But this is what we're having tomorrow. It's probably the strongest threat that we've had since the last major threat came through on February 28th into the overnight hours of March 1st. And you remember we had a nice little tornado outbreak during that. Some of the same parameters are in place here. Here's what we've got going on. Enhanced risk of severe weather all over southern Indiana tomorrow. Only a very small corner here in the slight risk, and then up to our north as well. Slight risk in yellow. Here in this more of an orange color, you've got your enhanced risk. There's actually a moderate risk as well, but it's further on down to our south. Wouldn't be surprised to see a moderate upgrade here for us at some point in time tomorrow, but that remains to be seen yet at this point. There's some small levels of disagreement here in the modeling, and I think that's enough to sort of preclude the SPC upgrading it to moderate until they start to see the system actually develop tomorrow and see whether it's warranted for that or not. So we'll kind of wait for that. If we back out here towards the national view, there's your moderate risk down to our south, and that looks like it could be a pretty significant day down to our south, but let's not kid us. Our risks are pretty significant here too. An enhanced risk there for us again. And then if we just switch it to probabilities, what we notice is we are in the black hatched area all over this, and that's where the most significant of the severe weather is expected to be, in that black hatched area. And so that black hatch is significant in indicating that they're expecting very large hail or strong EF2 tornadoes, and this is kind of the area that it's expected to be in. Of course, the bullseye down to our south, as I said, where that moderate risk is, but that includes part of our area too. So let's not kid ourselves. It's a pretty significant day that we want to be weather aware. Well, here's what's going on. Let's just look at the fronts, kind of get an idea for it. Here we are where we're at right now, and basically you see there's a cold front that's down to our south. There's a developing low pressure. Watch what happens as this draws near overnight, and what happens is this front down to our south actually becomes a warm front and then starts to lift back a little bit more towards the north. And then by tomorrow afternoon, what you've got is a low pressure center here, and you've got the triple point right in our area. The triple point is where the low pressure meets up with the warm front and the cold front, and that sort of rolls through our area. That triple point is usually a pretty active spot for severe weather whenever you have the right parameters in place. So things are setting up tomorrow like they could have those right parameters in place. Tornadoes not out of the question tomorrow. I think really all modes of severe weather need to be on the table at this point. If we take a look at the maximum updraft helicity spin in the atmosphere, so this is spin in the updrafts, and this is from the beginning of the run until the current hour that I've got it on. So this will take you through Thursday morning early on. And all of these things you're seeing here is essentially rotation tracks. Think of it that way. This is spin in the atmosphere from those individual supercells. Don't look necessarily at the placement to say, oh, I'm going to have a tornado form in this place. What it's indicating is there's widespread rotation going on. And so that's indicating to me that we'll have some supercells develop tomorrow. According to this, that could have some spin in the atmosphere and could develop those tornadoes with them. It's not something that we want to see. By the way, they are stronger down to our south, as you see, but they are still up here as well. Also, something that we never really want to see here, just look at the winds, the crossover here. The shading here is our CAPE, our convective available potential energy. That's our measure of instability in the atmosphere. More than enough CAPE to get severe weather, but take a look here at these winds. In the red barbs you've got down at the surface, and then about 4,000, 5,000 feet up into the air in the blue, and then here about 20 or 30,000 feet up here by the time you get up into the black. Notice at the surface they're coming from the southeast and they're coming from the southwest as you go up. That's a pretty strong crossover, and with that, that could indicate some spin in the atmosphere. By the way, your low pressure at this particular hour right over in here somewhere, and in your cold front sort of in this way with your warm front up in here. So as this is moving through, and this would be valid for 5 p.m. tomorrow, but that's some pretty good crossover in behind, below that warm front and ahead of that cold front. So definitely some winds, both speed shear gets stronger as you go up and changes direction as you go up. So you got speed and directional shear Needed ingredients for tornado development there. You got some decent instability there as well. And because of that, if we look at the significant tornado parameter, what you see is, well, again, to our south, there's a pretty significant threat coming there. But even with that, we still have our own threat in our own right up here over parts of the area. So let's not kid ourselves. All modes of severe weather could be in play tomorrow. Why? Because this looks like this is going to be a supercellular kind of day rather than a squall line like it appeared in the modeling at the very beginning. Things might congeal into a line possibly later. It's going to start out there. So here we are right now, and during the overnight hours there's a line that sort of breaks up before it gets here, and then by tomorrow morning what we see is not a whole lot going on, some isolated showers here at the beginning, but by and large it's tomorrow afternoon before things get going. And here we are by about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. There's some initial storms here firing up over the southern Illinois area here, and then by the time that you get into the afternoon hours here, here's 5 o'clock. Now we got widespread storm development going on, and notice these are not in a line in any sense of the imagination here. We are all in just individual supercellular kind of nature here. This is the worst kind of setup that we could possibly get here, really, because you know, these individual cells like this have a habit of rotating and producing those tornadoes and also storms that have very large hail with them. So that's a real possibility tomorrow. We can't rule out these. And then of course that races through the area very quickly. By the time 8 p.m. is in, you're starting maybe to congeal into a line as you exit the state over here. So thinking probably about 2 o'clock through 6 or 7 o'clock will be about the window of severe weather for most of the state, the way things look right now. All modes of severe weather possible with this, folks. Damaging winds in excess of 60, 70 miles an hour. Some very large hail could be associated with this as well. And of course some strong tornadoes. Now, was this a guarantee that we're going to see severe weather? No, especially not whenever you look off to our south and you see what's going on down here. Oftentimes when you get a significant severe weather event off to our south, it could rob the energy from us and make it a little less severe. We can hope that happens tomorrow, but that's certainly not a guarantee. It could also be another reason why they have decided to go with enhanced rather than moderate for us yet. But as you wake up tomorrow morning, we'll be able to know a little bit more about the day's events. So look for another fresh update for you first thing in the morning. That's where things stand right now, folks. Of course, I'll be watching this throughout the event, so keep it tuned right here to Southern Indiana Weather for more. Make sure you follow me on Facebook and Twitter, facebook.com/Southern Indiana Weather, and Twitter, the handle is @SouthernINWX for complete updates throughout this. I'm meteorologist Michael Wilhite. Stay safe, have your severe weather plan in place, folks, and stay with us throughout the duration of the event as we get you through this.